Hey everybody, Michael here from GetFitOver40.com, and I wanted to make a New Year's video. Every year I try to make something, as long as I've got something valuable to say. I've done fitness, just totally fitness videos related to fitness. This one's going to be kind of, I wouldn't say it's not related to fitness, but I think it's just sort of a general video going into the new year. Just some advice, being a 54-year-old guy, some of my life experiences, what I seen, what I kind of see, how I see my future unfolding. Talking to people older than myself, people talking to, same age as myself, kind of some realizations. And this isn't just for one age group. This video is hopefully going to, it's going to speak to people that are younger, people that are older. And it's just my advice moving forward. We can't move backwards. We can only move forward. It's just my advice moving forward. Dealing with the hands you've been dealt, dealing with the hands you've dealt yourself. A lot of people moving forward are going to be limited to the choices that they've already made. Those will impact them in a good or bad way as they get older, obviously. So let's start with, sort of how life unfolds. You start when you're 20 years, the first 20 years of your life. And I'd say a lot of that is dedicated to learning, right? We learn how to walk, talk, we go through the school, what they call the education system. That's either good or bad, depends on how you look at it, but that's a different conversation. And you learn a few things, hopefully, while you're in there, and then sometimes you get into higher education that might take you into your 20s. But the whole point of the first 20 years or so is it's learning, right? You don't have a lot of financial obligations. You don't necessarily have a ton of time, but you will realize later on in life that you do have quite a bit of time when you're in your 20s. You might not think so when you're going through them, right? You got school and all these things you have to do, certain responsibilities. But you've got a lot of time, I would say. It's a pretty good time in your life. It's going to be the easiest time in your life, whether you understand that or not yet. You don't have a lot of financial obligations. And then you move into your 20s and up, so for say the next 40 years, up to 60, even 70, so 40 or 50 years from your 20s to your 60s or 70s. And these are going to be the working, this is the working part of your life for most people. You're going to be working. You're going to be investing a lot of your time and energy into making money, right? So that you can either support your family. Sometimes it's just, nowadays, if you're on your own, having that one income is just barely enough to support you. It used to be different, but, talking about now, how it is right now, you're gonna sometimes have one or two jobs just to support yourself. Both family, if you have a husband-wife situation, dual income, you're gonna need that to have a home, to support kids and stuff. And it's not always just a 40-hour-a-week job. Sometimes it's more than that. If you're really fortunate, you might have some spare time when you go through these years. But you're going to invest a lot of time for the next 40 to 50 years in supporting yourself or your family or what have it. And you might get away on some vacations, and you're obviously going to do some things you enjoy. Hopefully you're going to find a way to enjoy life and to do things that you enjoy outside of work, even outside of family, or enjoy the family as well. But there's things I think you need to be independent, no matter if you have a family or not. You need to have your own things that you're doing. Hopefully you invest in your health during that time. I mean, I can't say enough about investing in your health between your 20s and 60s and 70s. That is a really important time. And some of you might be getting close to the 60s and 70s and haven't invested in your health. And it's going to compound, and the results are not going to be good. You're probably looking back thinking, maybe I should have invested more in that. But you can always do something. So there's always hope, right? And then, we're just going through the stages of life. And then you reach your 60s, 70s plus, and you're not really working, hopefully. Hopefully you can retire. Hopefully you've set yourself up. Maybe you've got a home, a big home that you can now sell, downsize, and you can buy an apartment or townhouse or something. You've got some money in the bank. Not everybody's in that position. Hopefully you are. That's sort of the best case scenario for a lot of people. And then you've got more time now. You got a lot more time. And, it's like the problem is, though, is oftentimes you just can't do all the things that you thought you were going to be able to do when you turned 60, 70 and retired or semi-retired and thought you'd have all this extra time, right? You have the money to do it, but the health always isn't necessarily there, or just the mindset, the energy isn't there. And here's another thing. Talking about mindset when you get older, a lot of younger people will look at people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and see them as an older person, and they see them as a person. There's always exceptions. You always have certain people that are just like blow your mind. They're 70 years old and they're doing marathons and things. But most people in their 70s and 80s aren't doing marathons. They're pretty low key. Oftentimes they can't do most of the things that a younger person can do. And so they're limited in their physical ability. And unfortunately, when that happens, it's not that they don't want to do those things. They do want to do those things. That's the crazy thing, is they do want to do all those things, but their body is letting them down. The mind is the same. Like, I'm 54, but I don't think of myself as a 54-year-old. I think of myself as like in my maybe 30s or something. That's how I feel mentally. And some days I feel that way physically, but other days my body's telling me I'm 54. So it's not that I don't want to do all the things that I did when I was in my 30s. I definitely do think things through a lot more before I do them now that I'm older. And that's through life experience and kind of knowing better, right? When I was younger, I would just do crazy stuff, not really think about the consequences so much. And so now I think about that a lot more before I do something, and that can hold me back. And that's a decision I make mentally, not physically. But that's just life experience. But don't think of, when you think of an older person, if you're a younger person and they're just sitting there reading a book or knitting or whatever you visualize in your head, right? It's not because they want to do that necessarily. Sometimes it's just because that's all they really feel up to doing, like energy, body. Their mind would want to go and do a lot of these things that you want to do, these younger person things, physical things. They just can't do it. And their mind, even though they're 70 or 80, feels much younger. So it's almost like you're trapped in your body to a certain degree. So why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because we have limited time, and your life is going to change, and you're going to have certain things you can and can't do as you get older, and those will change, right? Time versus money versus health. It's something that you have to balance all through your life, and it's always changing. So there should be no excuse not to do anything. You always have to find the time. You always have to find the finances or the way to do things. You can't, money will dictate what you can do, but there's always something you can do, whether it be going on vacation. If you got a lot of money, you can get in a plane, you can fly somewhere tropical. If you don't have a lot of money, you can just hop in your car and go somewhere local and have a lot of fun. Sometimes you forget about what's around you, that there's all these amazing things you can do around you if you just look hard enough. When it comes to being physical, when it comes to athletics, when it comes to health, you got to do it. You got to do it now before it's too late, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to get as you get older. There's always something you can do, even if you haven't done anything all your life and you're in your 70s and 80s and you're feeling the results of that. You can still, do something. If you can't use your legs, well, you can row a little bit with your upper body. You can get into the gym. You can swim. You can do things. There's always something you can do for your health. The more you do through your life, the more you're going to have at the end of your life. And there's the thing, the whole Nike thing. Just do it. People don't think about what that means. What that really means. It's such a great slogan. Just do it. We hear that and we think Nike. We don't think what it means. What does it really mean? It's just do it. Stop not thinking about it. Just do it. Don't think about all the stuff you should be doing. Like, everybody does that, whether it's cleaning your room, cleaning your house, whether it's getting a job, where it's writing up a resume for a new job. Don't think about it. Do it. When it comes to your health, don't think about it. Do it. Don't make excuses. You're always going to be able to find excuses for everything. They're always there. There's hundreds of them. Okay? Stop making excuses. I'm bad at, there's things that I make excuses for that I got to stop doing it. Not so much with health, but with other things, I make excuses all the time. I got to stop doing it. We got to stop making excuses. We got to just do it. Sorry, Nike. Don't sue me. But it's a great slogan. And I think everyone's just got to get that mindset. Okay. That's enough rambling. Have a great new year. We'll see you in 2024.